Tennessee travels to play Georgia in Athens tomorrow night, 7:30 on ABC. The Georgia Bulldogs, will they give up a second loss in a row? Also, the third loss of the season. Or will Tennessee lose their second game of the season, second in conference? I'm going to dive into that in just a second. Welcome to the channel. I am Brian. I'm glad you're here. Obviously, you can tell who I pull for, with all the flags and crap around me. But I do talk about other college football teams, so if you like that sort of crap, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. It is free. Did you hear that? It's free. Hope you'll do that. So, my Clemson Tigers faced the Georgia Bulldogs in Week 1, August the 31st in Atlanta, and we know how that ended. It was 6-0 at halftime. Clemson looked defensively pretty doggone good, but Clemson's offense never came out of the locker room, mainly their coaching staff. Same coaching staff that went into the locker room against Louisville. But hey, they showed up for Appalachian State. I'm definitely bitter about that. Salty or whatever the new saying is. But I've seen Georgia up close and personal. Georgia losing a game to Ole Miss is fathomable. Yeah. Losing the game to Alabama in Tuscaloosa by 7 points in a thriller, one of the best games and one of the most exciting games in the season, is understandable. But how they lost to Ole Miss? I'm sorry, y'all. You lost 28-10, could only muster up 3 points in the second, third, and fourth quarter combined. It doesn't make sense. When was the last time that Georgia lost 2 games back to back? When was the last time Georgia lost 3 games in a season? You'd have to go back a little bit. Kirby's done an incredible job. Again, my Tigers got to see it firsthand. On the other hand, you have a Tennessee football team who brought in an incredible 5-star quarterback. This guy, just highly rated. Now, he's a redshirt freshman. A lot of people like to talk about he's a freshman. He's a redshirt freshman. Okay, I get it. But he sat behind Milton, and I think that was a good move by Heupel. Don't just throw the guy into SEC play and get demoralized. At the same time, he has more experience than a freshman who's right out of high school. He's been in the system. He's heard the play calls. He's seen the speed of the game. He's had his feel, but he is still a redshirt freshman with limited play last year. It's his gig this year. If you look at this ball game, first, it's the biggest ball game of this weekend. This is one of those games that's going to wreak even more havoc in the SEC, meaning if Georgia wins, Tennessee is now a 2-loss team in the conference, and there's a bunch of them. But if Tennessee wins, Georgia has 3 losses. And if Georgia has 3 losses, you want to take a wild guess the teams they join in 3-loss SEC teams? South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Arkansas. It's kind of hard to accept that. When you step back and you look at the losses that Georgia's had, you get it. Once again, that Ole Miss loss, I don't care who was out. Y'all lost 28-10. Come on. Come on. You lost to the Bill Clinton of college football like that? Doesn't make sense. Yes, you beat Clemson, blah, 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 blah. Clemson's not contenders anymore. I know it. Most of the Clemson fan base is still talking about 16. They don't realize that was 8 years ago. But it still doesn't change what happened to you. Tennessee wins this ball game, which, by the way, at this point, Tennessee is a 9.5-point underdog going into Georgia. Let me give you some context here of how much Vegas believes that Tennessee is going to lose this ball game. Number 3, Texas travels to Arkansas tomorrow at 12 o'clock on ABC. The 8-1 number 3 Texas team is playing a 5-4 Arkansas team. At the making of this video, which is 9:20 the night before Georgia and Tennessee plays and Texas plays at Arkansas, right now, Texas is a 12-point favorite. Only a 12-point favorite over Arkansas. Again, Tennessee is a 9.5-point underdog to Georgia. Georgia has a bunch of players who are injured. And just over the past few hours, it's been cleared that Nico's definitely going to play. Dante Thornton is definitely available for the game. We don't know if we'll see him or not. So what is all my ramblings about? It all comes down to this. Somebody's championship hopes, first starting with the SEC championship, is going to die tomorrow. Now, how could that happen? Well, let me read this back out to you. Right now, Tennessee is 5-1. A&M is 5-1. Texas is 4-1 in the conference. If Tennessee loses this ball game, they join Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU as a 2-loss in-conference team. So now they go from this 1 loss. There's only 3 of them at this time. And by the way, their team name starts with a T, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Texas. It's kind of bizarre to me. All 3 of them only have 1 loss. Texas, Tennessee, and Texas A&M, they all control their own destiny at this point. And remember, A&M and Texas has to play at the very end of the season. So the point is, one of them is going to get loss number 2. The best thing that could happen for Tennessee at this point, win this flipping ball game. I know that's the biggest duh statement in the world, but at the very beginning of the season, when you looked at Tennessee's schedule, we didn't know that Oklahoma was going to be terrible. We didn't know that NC State was going to be that bad. You had questions about Arkansas. You probably knew that Florida was going to be terrible, which, by the way, Napier keeping his job so far, that's been interesting. But Georgia, you knew that was going to be the big game. That was going to be the biggie. That's a duh statement. But the point is, Tennessee actually controls their destiny at this point. And right now is not the time, if you're a Tennessee fan, to talk about how hard it is to play in the SEC. You've been in the SEC forever. I think at this point, it shows less belief in your program to start slightly talking about the SEC versus your ability to go into a hostile Georgia, a team that's been beat twice this year. Literally look at what Lane Kiffin did this past week. Smacked them around. Only allowed 3 points in the second, third, and fourth quarters total. Only 3 points in those 3 quarters. He laid the smackdown on them. What does this come down to? I'll tell you what it comes down to. It comes down to Nico. It comes down to Carson Beck. Carson Beck, he has a Lamborghini from what I hear. And last year, the guy's numbers, they were incredible. Now, to be fair to him, Deshaun Watson, when he played for Clemson, his numbers as a sophomore were way better than the year he won the national championship. Unfortunately, he was going up against if my memory serves me correct, against the brand, the Alabama brand, and Derrick Henry for the Heisman Trophy. Deshaun Watson should have won the Heisman Trophy in his sophomore year. Go look at his numbers. It's ridiculous. The year he won the national championship, he threw interception after interception. It was crazy. But Clemson won a national championship. I'll take that trophy over the Heisman Trophy any day. But quarterback play is that's going to be the difference here. To me, that is the difference. Carson Beck is a guy who's been around for a while. This guy, he's been around for a while. This is year number 4 for him in college football. He just didn't show up and start playing. In fact, if Nico comes into this ball game and he doesn't play great, you know what you do? You step back and you look at the guy and you go, he's a redshirt freshman. He sat on the bench behind Milton last year and just kind of hung out. Yeah, he had his snaps and blah, 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 blah. Played in the bowl game. Good for him. He had that safety net of Joe Milton. He knew that he started farting around in a game, Milton would jog right back out there. You can't say that for Carson Beck. Let me rephrase that. You can, but it's the most idiotic statement in the world. Now, let's be fair to Carson Beck. He doesn't have McConkey or Bowers. But as a lot of you pointed out to me when I was getting ready for the Clemson game, Clemson, Georgia, wasn't Bowers and even McConkey, they had a lot of injuries last year. So you can't, you got to choose which argument you want to argue here. Last year, this guy threw for 3,941 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. This year, he's thrown for 2,000, and I know this season's not over, but 2,488 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Folks, he's not getting close to that 4,000 mark in the regular season. Not even close to it, and I doubt even with the playoff he's going to do that. I doubt it. In fact, I'll go ahead and tell you he's not. It comes down to a senior and a redshirt freshman. Which player makes the least mistakes? Which coaching staff sets up their quarterback better? That's what it comes down to. Well, this is in Athens. It's hard to win. You're right. It's hard to win in Athens. Do you think Kirby Smart wants to lose this game? Now, if there's any team in America that would get into the college football playoff with 3 losses, it'd be the Georgia Bulldogs. You may not like it, folks, who's listening to this. You may say that's not right. You may say whatever you want to, but folks, I'm just telling you, Georgia can lose this game. And if a few things go sideways in college football, because we still have a few more weeks left after this weekend. We also have the not college football playoff, but we also have the conference championship games. Don't be shocked if a 3-loss Georgia team somehow sneaks into a 12-team playoff, and everybody's going to be pissed, and everybody's going to be shocked, and everybody's going to act like they didn't know it was coming. I am here to tell you, Georgia can lose this game tomorrow. And yeah, they're going to need a lot of help. Their college football playoff, the nail is almost in the coffin if they lose tomorrow. I said almost. Tennessee on the other side. On the other side of the football. These guys need to win this ball game. I think that they would not, even with 2 losses, would not get the nod. Why? Because the College Football Playoff Committee, they already have their hands full. And I don't care if they have tripled the playoff in size from 4 teams to 12. You can already look at the college football playoff right now, and you can look at the first 3 teams and go, okay, Penn State, number 4. Come on, y'all. Are we still doing this? Are we still doing this? Apparently we are. You have Indiana. Well, they've won all their games. Who the crap have they played? They've played, good for them. Cignetti's doing what he should do, and that's win his games. Do you really believe in Miami even being where they're at? Do you really believe in Notre Dame? I did a video on BYU yesterday, and I talked about, hey, they're doing everything right, and all they can do is just continue to go win and prove the naysayers wrong. But in that video, I said, hey, listen, I admit to you, I have a hard time buying you guys. I have a very difficult time buying into BYU, but hey, just keep winning. Tennessee, you need to understand, if you are a two-loss football team, that Georgia would go in with 3 losses before you would. Why ain't I fired? I don't understand your logic. That's what Florida State said last year. So, Tennessee at Georgia. I just have a hard time seeing the Georgia Bulldogs losing 2 games in a row and 3 games in the season. I really have a very difficult time at Sanford. I just, you're playing at Sanford Stadium. I just have a hard time seeing Georgia losing this ball game. And let me tell you this, it's not because I don't think that Tennessee as a whole can win this game. It's just Tennessee's offense. And here they are. I mean, they have all these weapons around them. Dylan Sampson looks incredible. The guy's rushed for over 1,000 yards. I was told about Dylan Sampson a couple of years ago. I was like, I heard this guy's special. I'm telling you. Heard people telling me that, and folks, he's more than lived up to it. He is special. He's a very talented football player. Tennessee has the wide receivers. They can do it. The problem is at the quarterback position. Nico is a redshirt freshman, and we're expecting way too much for these freshmen early on. I don't care if you do pay them a lot of money. You need to understand that money is not going to magically make them better. The market will have to correct itself by realizing that giving an 18, 19-year-old kid millions of dollars to come out and play football does not guarantee that even if he puts in the time, that he's going to be who you need him to be and what he's being paid to be that quick. On paper, it makes sense. Our expectation says yes. A lot of us work for companies that has expectations of us that's totally unrealistic, and we're far from paid that much money, not even close to it. So it's hard for us to accept and really evaluate and make it real, but I'm sorry. Nico has a lot of talent. I just don't see him doing what he can do against Georgia. Maybe he proves me wrong and someone else blows it, but I see Georgia winning this ball game. I'd like to see Tennessee win this game. I have no ill will towards them, but I am telling you, it is very, very interesting. Very interesting. Get in here to the comment section. Bloody Knuckles, what's up? Dogs lose. Tony Pitt says dogs lose. Dogs lose again. 3 losses, dead this year. He's talking about Clemson picking in our program this weekend if we were to. Roger Parks, what's up? Roger supports the channel on a monthly basis. You see that symbol beside his name. Thank you, Roger Parks, for supporting on a monthly basis. Folks, if you want to do that, you can do that. Right below the video, there is a join button. Click the join button. You'll see either $3 or $5 per month. I made it very affordable. Roger, thanks for supporting the channel and subscribing. Folks, I hope you'll at least subscribe. It is free. We will see tomorrow night. Now, if Tennessee goes in and they win this ball game, it's theirs to lose. It is literally theirs to lose. And the world of the SEC will get even more interesting. And that will make the college football playoff even more mind-boggling. Folks, you take care of yourself. Well, Clemson plays tomorrow. So I'll be going. I have a football game at 11. I'm coaching my son, and so I will not be doing a pregame. I may do a show in the morning, but anyway, I'll be coaching my son at 11. So I'll probably be on the road driving home while Clemson and Pitt's kicking off at 12. Y'all take care of yourself. And Wally Markham, good day from Nelson Bay, Australia. Wally, thanks for saying hello. Hello in Australia. I believe it's morning time there? That's right. I believe so. My wife is jealous because I'm famous. You are famous, my friend. You're famous for all of us. Y'all take care of yourself, and as always, go Tigers.